I'll give us 3, 2. And we are live, the Ray Powers Hour, here with my special guest who is keeping the legacy of Frank Sinatra alive through song and celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Joey Commentucci. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ray. How are you?
Fantastic. You know, it's the weather's finally broken. It's nice. It's just about beach weather, Memorial Day weekends, and what's to complain about?
Yep, that's great. And things are starting to loosen up a little.
Yeah, right.
People are starting to live again.
Exactly. It's a holiday weekend, so it's a perfect time.
Yeah, I feel like, as I said earlier, I feel like I know you from talking to Camille, who told me a lot about you. I didn't know you before, but I feel like I know you now.
Well, see, you know what it is? We're local too. You know, we grew up really close to each other. You're a Philly-based guy. You know, a New York-based guy. I'm in Jersey now, just on the other side of the bridge. But you know, it's funny. You grew up in Philly, and you know Sinatra's a Jersey boy, of course. Everybody knows that. Of course, he traversed, you know, Hudson County. Obviously, he made a few more friends and a few more fans.
Yep.
What was it like growing up? Was it? I guess you grew up in an Italian neighborhood. I'm guessing.
Yes, I did.
All right, so you don't have to
explain. Little Italy, where I grew up.
All right, so no explanation needed on Sinatra. We can pretty much wrap the show. We know why you're doing this. But when did you realize that you wanted to do this? You wanted to pay the ultimate tribute to Frank?
Well, you know, I guess growing up, I was just like everybody else back when. Where we all listened to Frank Sinatra as well as the other music. But I sort of gravitated to him more than some of my friends. And I always listened to his music at home in my car, sing along with him. We'd go to parties, and naturally Sinatra would come on, or they would play Sinatra, and everybody sang. Everybody would sing. But some people would come up to me and say, well, you know, Joey, you have a good voice. And I never really thought I did, you know, but, you know, I did what everybody else did.
Right.
And then finally I said, you know what? I said, everybody's telling me I really enjoy it. I love singing. Let me give it a go. And then, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 hours later, after rehearsals, 4,000 or 5,000 hours of rehearsals later. And then I started performing, you know, little gigs around. And then before you know it, it just grew and grew and grew. And I guess I was, you know, at a young age, but I never really pursued it because, you know, you end up getting married, you have children, and I never, you know, it's a hard life to get into and to make a living and to support a family. So I kind of shelved it a while until, you know, I did little things, but I shelved it a while until I felt that I was able, my family and children didn't need me around as much. And then I started to go for it a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm a touring bassist, and I don't do 330 days a year on the road anymore because I have a 12-year-old daughter. So I want to watch her grow up, and I have got to be, you know, you got to be close. Day trips are okay. Weekends are okay. But, you know, a week or two at a time, you miss everything, you know?
Yes, I have a drummer who toured with Al Martino for like 25, 30 years, all over the world. He was never home. Mm-hmm. He would tell me stories, and I wish I could have done what he did, but I couldn't. You know, I had to be home. I had to be home.
Well, you don't get that time back. I mean, you know, you go, I would have loved to have been at that recital or that first play, you know, the Christmas pageant, all these things that all the other parents are there and the kids like, oh, well, I know Dad wanted to be here. I know he's working, you know, but yeah.
And I'm sure they understand, but you're missing out. We're missing out if we're not there.
Yeah. And you get one shot at that. For me, I only have one daughter, one child. So that's it. So I wasn't.
Well, I had 3.
Okay.
I had 2 boys and a girl. So,
that's
and,
perfect.
I wanted to be around, and I was around. I gave up something that I love to be there. So,
Right.
but now I'm ready and willing to travel anywhere, and I'm ready to go. I have a great band, and I'm ready to go. I perform with and without a band. So whatever kind of gig I can get, that's what I want.
What's that like with a big band? I mean, it's to walk on stage and you have the full ensemble and you got the opening number, all these people are pumped, and you're kind of transported back to, Las Vegas, and it's just like the whole experience all over again. The fans must go nuts.
They do. They go nuts with the tracks, but they really go nuts with the band.
Yeah.
It's especially when you're singing along with the band. I mean, I have people who came up to me and said, "Hey, I close my eyes and I feel like I'm back in Las Vegas."
Mm-hmm.
And that's amazing for me. I close my eyes and they say, "I feel like I'm listening to him in person."
Yeah. That's the thing is, I've never gotten to see Sinatra live, so if I see you, I could be impressed. But somebody who, maybe they were on their honeymoon in Vegas and they got to see Frank for real, and then maybe they go every year. That has to be the ultimate compliment from someone like that, who say, "You transported me all the way back," and it has to be such a surreal and such a cool moment.
Sinatra helped put Vegas on the map.
Oh yeah.
When he was in town, this show was the hottest show in town. The ticket was the hottest ticket in town to try to get. And when he was in town, the marquee would only say, "He's here." Not even his name. "He's here."
They knew what it meant.
Yeah, they knew what it meant.
Right.
Everybody who got in a taxi cab asked the taxi cab driver, "How could I get tickets to see Sinatra?"
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
And I just love singing his songs. I don't know why. It makes me happy to see the audience and the crowd, their reaction. It's just marvelous for me. At my age, it's marvelous. Yeah.
Sure, that's the ultimate high. I mean, it's great to cut a record. It's great to hear it on the radio, but there's just nothing that replicates the feeling of interacting with an audience. I know firsthand. You're the front man, so you really, really see it, and you can interact with the people, and they're going to go home and they're going to be talking about this for years. Like that Joey guy, he was so close. Oh my God. If I didn't get to see Frank, I mean, talk about the next best thing. And really, it's about celebrating the music and keeping it alive. That's the whole thing.
My show, I'm really not I'm not a Sinatra impersonator. Right. I don't go out there and try to make up in the hair. I'm Joey C when I'm out there. I sing Sinatra. I try to sing it the way he did. I try to phrase it the way he did. And I'm lucky that my voice is a little like his. It's like his older voice, not his voice in the 40s or the 50s.
Right.
It's more like his voice in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, probably the 70s, 60s and the 70s more.
You kind of hit that.
I have a deeper voice. And his voice got deeper too as he got older.
Sure. Yeah, you hit that stride, like that 10-year hot zone, that sweet spot where, like Elvis, like matured in 68, you kind of had that same type of like, all right, this is where I live. This is, the comfort zone. And you're really going to nail it. And like you said, not being a dead-on impersonator, it gives you more leeway where you could say, we're celebrating the catalog and the life and the music of Sinatra. I don't have to do all the idiosyncrasies. I don't have to, people are they're going to get that from your show anyway.
Yes, exactly. Not that I don't have a few moves,
sure,
I guess, maybe similar to his, but I don't try to go out there and do what he did. There's only one Frank Sinatra. And I just, when I perform, I just try to pay tribute to him.
Right.
And I even tell, a few stories, along the way, in the show to make it interesting for that.
I think people.
And you should know because you're a musician, you're a vocalist also, aren't you?
I am. And when when I toured with a lot of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts, the Drifters, the Coasters, Tavara, some of these people, we also have a large ensemble that does a tribute to Motown. So it's the same thing. You know, it's not the Four Tops. You know, it's not the Jackson 5 up there, but it's celebrating the music. You know, guys have dreadlocks. Guys are 30 years old. You know, this obviously we're just, people. Really, we're just hosting a party, and it's giving these people, it's going to be probably the best time they have all year.
Yes, for me too. I always say that I've been blessed. I've always been blessed with the greatest audience, with the greatest response. And you feed, as an entertainer, you feed off the audience. If the audience is into what you're doing, it just gives you a lift, and makes your performance even better.
Absolutely.
Because you can communicate with the audience while you're singing, as well as when you're not singing and when you're talking to them. So I've always been so fortunate. I hope it doesn't change, but I've always been so fortunate.
Yeah, and it's changed so much over the years, the dynamics, because now it's like, people are looking to be like almost a part of the show. Like they're videoing it, they're putting it on Facebook Live, and they go, look, I'm here. And, it's that experience where 50 years ago, there really was that wall between celebrity where they were untouchable. It's like they're there on that side and I'm here. Because you didn't have that access at all. Like you'd see them on TV, you'd hear them on the radio, and that's it. Whatever they put out there on the news, in their clips, that's what you got. Now you're on social media, you're doing Facebook Live, you're doing, Twitter feeds, and you're interacting more with the fans. I think they really appreciate that they can get a little closer to you. And they can kind of relate like you're real people.
Not only, yes, you're on social media, and a lot of them ask to be your friend on social media, which right. I have a lot of. They'll ask questions or they'll talk to you, and it's a little bit more sometimes on a little personal level with some of them.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, and just to give you a little spoiler, just to prepare you, I did get some questions from some listeners and some people who checked you out ahead of time. They were excited, so in a few minutes, if you're okay with that, I'll give you some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
But yeah, I really think that after a year of, like you said, a lot of artists not being able to go anywhere and perform, I think it's going to really, really ramp up the interest and, where they were having fun before. Now it's going to be like, I'm not taking this for granted. And now when you go out to see a live show, you're going to be like, man, it's kind of like when you're choking on dinner and then you took your next breath for granted. And now here you are, in 2022, and it's like, we're at live music again. Let's not do this again.
I think they'll appreciate it a lot because they wanted to do it before and they couldn't. Right. So now I think they'll appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah. And people who might have thought about, well, I want to stay home and watch The Bachelor, I think nowadays, it's good to kind of put things in perspective.
Yeah. I missed a lot last year. I had a lot of bookings and I really missed, doing the amphitheaters, and because it was summertime. Yeah. I had several amphitheaters to do, and I was looking through, forward to doing concerts out there. And I was so sorry that this hit it at the time that it did, because I was really starting to really pick up a lot.
Yeah. Well,
and so everybody else, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think I had like 100 dates that were either pushed, some got burned, but most of them got postponed. And, again, I think it's just going to ramp it up for you, because now it's like, well, we were looking forward to this in July of 2020. That didn't happen. As soon as those tickets go back on sale in that city, I think it's going to, we're going to see sellouts everywhere. I think it's unavoidable. People are social creatures, and that's how we interact best.
You think that's going to happen now, or do you think people right now are still a little skittish until, maybe July or August or even September.
Well, I'm convinced there's 1% of the people who'll never come out again. I mean,
yes, yes.
You're going to have every faction going down the line, but 90 to 95%, yeah, and midsummer, I think, when it gets real hot out, in the thick of it after the 4th of July, you're going to just, something's going to just hit you where you're like, I have to go out and do something. Even those people who are kind of like, a little hesitant, it's like, I got my 2 pokes, let's go out and do something,
Right.
Yeah.
But then when you have to sell tickets for a show, to fill every seat, I'm hoping that the audience realizes that they have to fill almost every seat in order to have the show go on.
Of course, yeah.
You can't do every other seat because there isn't enough revenue,
right,
to do everything that needs to be done for a show.
Yeah, we were offered a house at 25%, and I said, "You can't even pay your help at 25%." I said, "No, wait till next year. We'll come out when it's full." And who the hell wants to play to a quarter house anyway? I mean,
right?
That's like sound check. Yeah. I really think once you're at a place and you're, in the thick of it, 90% of people or more are going to just forget about it, and they're going to be in the moment. And the minute you come out, that's it. They're in that mode again. It's just how we're wired. We need people, unless we're complete hermits and we have the antisocial people. But, by and large, we're on the East Coast. You grew up Italian like me. We're on top of each other all the time. That's how we live.
Yeah, you don't shake hands when you're Italian. You hug.
You hug, of course.
You hug. You don't shake. We don't do. Although lately, some of the people I see were doing this. They were fist bumping, but
yeah.
We always grew up hugging. And
you hand your grandmother a box of pastries you brought, and you hug. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
I grew up in Brooklyn. It's the same exact thing. But
where I grew up was all Italian. You know what? I'm going to tell you a little story. I was growing up, and I tell you, I had to be around 12 years old before I realized that there was other people than Italian in the world.
Yeah.
Because my community, was all Italian, and I just never thought about anything else.
Right.
And then you realize, wait a minute. He's not Italian.
No.
And she's not Italian. Well, wait a minute. I thought it was all Italian. It was funny.
Their eyes are a different shape. Their skin's a different color. They speak differently. There's a different languages going on. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I grew up in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
And?
All Polish. So that's what I knew my first, 7, 8, 9 years. Same thing. And went to a Catholic school. Everyone dressed the same, looked the same. And then I went to public school in my 4th year or 5th year. And now it's a big culture shock. And it's like, wow, look at all this this diversity. It's like, wow. I didn't know who Martin Luther King was until 4th grade. Because they just hadn't made the transition yet. It had only been like 9 years since he was assassinated, but all these things you learn. The Jewish holidays. I didn't know anything about those things. And it's
right.
Really.
I went to a Catholic school. I didn't know from that. I just knew regular holidays.
Right.
The holidays we got off school, Christmas,
yeah,
Easter.
Actually, the Immaculate Conception, you got that off. That's my mom's birthday, and she thought everybody was out of school because they were celebrating her birthday when she was little. It's so cool when you're young and that's your vantage point. It's like such a cool mark of innocence. It's a shame we have to lose that. Then we grow up and realize, okay, well, the world is, it's a mixed bag, but you certainly have the positive cornered with this great music and everything else. So,
yeah.
If you don't mind, like I said, I got a couple of questions from all ladies, and they would like to know a little more about Joey Commentucci here in the Ray Powers Hour.
Okay. Do I speak to them, or do you ask the questions?
Well, I've got the questions here, and you can address them. I'm sure they'll be watching in chat, or they can watch it after the fact. Maria in Bud Lake wants to know your favorite Sinatra song to perform and why.
Jeez.
I know, right? Pick one. It's crazy.
I have so many, but I guess it would have to be because of the reaction of the audience, the reaction that I get. It would have to probably be My Way, which everybody knows My Way.
Sure.
And it's just that the audience just reacts so strongly, even before the song is completely over. And then they know that they have to quiet down in order for me to finish the rest of the song.
Right.
I would say My Way, but I have so many. There's so many that I enjoy performing. That one's for the audience. Maybe for myself. Maybe That's Life. Or I'm going to live until I die.
So many, yeah.
That's my song. I'm going to live until I die. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I'm a New Yorker, so you know my favorite.
Oh, well, that one too. That one too. There's no question about it. New York is another one that gets a marvelous response. Yeah. And if you go to my Facebook page, Joey C, my website, I'm trying to update. I haven't updated it yet for a while, so I'm working on that. You know what that's like when you want to update your website. You have to find the right picture, the pictures, the right videos.
Has to fit right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 weeks, my website will be up and running again. I mean, it is running, but I really want to update it. I really don't want to advertise it too much, but it's actually joeycsinatra.com is my website.
Cool.
And Joey C is my Facebook page, and Joey C together space Sinatra is my YouTube account.
Oh, there you go.
Which, there's many videos on there, performance videos from all of them.
So definitely subscribe, and check that out.
Did I answer her question? I can't ask her. Did I answer your question?
I think so. We picked more than one, but I mean, listen, we have to bend the rules. We're talking about Sinatra. We're talking about a lot of years and a big catalog and a huge legacy. So I think,
seven decade career.
Wow. It really was 7 decades into the 90s,
7
right?
Decade.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask me, they'll say, how many songs did Sinatra record?
My God.
And it's actually just the original recording. 957 songs.
Are you serious?
That's just the original recording. That's not counting the re-recordings. Some songs he recorded twice. He recorded it twice and put it out. Some 3, some 4, and some even 5 times. If you add them up into it, I don't know. I couldn't get a count. 1,700 songs.
That's like locking him in. That would be like locking him in the Brill Building for 6 years and making him sing a song every day.
That's why it's a 7 decade career.
Exactly. Wow.
It's over 70 years.
I think I've recorded about 9, so I'm a little behind. I better catch up. Wow. 9 to 900. That's insane. All right. I think we have time for 1 or 2 more. Stacy in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, not too far from you.
Mm-hmm.
Wanted to know your favorite pre-concert meal. Hey, maybe she'll cook for you.
Hello, Stacy. You might be a little disappointed with this answer because I really don't eat that much before a meal.
Right.
I eat very, very little, very dry, no seasonings. It's probably like a couple of soft-boiled eggs and a piece of toast just to have something in my stomach.
Yeah.
Because I can't do what I want to do if I eat more.
I was going to say, she probably doesn't realize the whole dynamic of singers not being able to eat. You eat after the fact.
But afterwards.
Post-concert meal, yeah.
You name it, and I'll eat it.
There you go. Bring a lasagna. I'll eat it all.
That's it, yep.
You can eat the cheese after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
How
can't.
about you? What do you do before you perform?
Same thing. My concert rider is light. Just some cold cuts backstage, you know. We go easy, some hummus, some chips, you know, some salad. After the fact, you know, we'll hit a Wawa and pig out, you know. But,
Right.
you know, we try to, like I said, if it's pizza or something, we'll wait until after the fact. Because for anybody who doesn't realize, dairy will cause the vocal cords to have a coating of phlegm. And then, you know, forget about it. All night you'll be battling that. Plus, you know.
Well, when I do a show, it's anywhere from a half an hour to 2 hours.
Right.
So I'm singing and talking constantly, you know, and
yeah, you don't get a break.
I don't want
It's
anything
true.
excuse me?
Yeah, you don't get a break.
No, well, sometimes if I do a 2 hour show, then I have maybe a 15, 20-minute intermission.
Right. Place wants to sell drinks and whatnot. Yeah.
It's usually like a dinner show.
Right.
So I give them, you know, like an hour and a half to serve dinner.
Okay.
And then after dinner is when I come out and start my show. So now the people have been sitting down for probably almost 2 hours. Then I do another hour and so many. So now they're sitting down for over 3 hours. So I give them a 15, 20-minute intermission.
Sure.
I'm going to go up, stretch your legs, grab a drink, get ready for the second part of the show. It's not really, you know, it's another like 35, 40 minutes.
Right.
And, but normally I do an hour and a half straight through.
Do you give them the Johnny Mathis treatment? No cleaning of glasses, no ice.
No, usually, you know, it reminds me of something. Sinatra, he would have 3 fingers. When he would have a drink, 1 ice cube and 3 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That's
cool. And he drank basically the same thing all the time.
Wow.
Jack Daniels.
A man after my own heart, or I'm a man after his heart, really.
Well, I drink too, but I usually drink Crown Royal.
Mm. Nothing wrong with that.
But I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody.
Except for these people listening, no one else will know.
No one else. So don't tell anybody. It's when I'm drinking, it's usually apple juice.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
But don't tell anybody.
We've done the ice.
But at the end of the show, when I have 1 or 2 numbers left, you know, they know to come up and give me a Crown Royal.
There you go.
Because I only have a little left. I don't have to worry about this as much to go through the whole show.
Would I be spoiling the act if I asked you what your encore was? Or should we make them come to see the show?
Well, a few times I would hold your city, your state's song for the encore.
Makes sense.
But I stopped doing that. That's my last song.
Okay.
And then the encore is, you know, another great Sinatra song, but I change that, you know, every now and then. But I would like to do New York, New York. Sure. But it seems like the way for the last song that some people are getting nervous. And so it's usually the last song of my show. And then the encore is another show. I mean, another song. Yeah, I guess. So I did do it your way, but I found that people that I trust said things to me. And I said, well, I'll give it to them. Right. You know, for the last song of the show. And then I'll give them an encore. Right. If they give me, you know, enough applause and a little standing ovation, then I'll give them an encore. Yeah. Which they usually do, thank God. Thank you. Well, I think, you know, most of those fans are smart enough to know if you leave the stage and they haven't heard that song, they're like, no, get back here. I paid my admission. I'm not leaving here, and you're not leaving here until I hear that song. Yeah. So I might go back to it again. I might go back to doing that again. But, I used to do that. That's cool. And I changed, yeah. All right. I think we have time for one more of these here. Okay, well, this isn't a Jersey girl. This is Dawn from Aurora, Illinois. And she wants to know
what your craziest onstage moment was.
All right. I was performing in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, at a resort.
Cool.
And I came off stage to sing. I was walking into the front of the people in the front. And one woman through the whole, I guess I was about three-quarters of the way through my show. And she was so vocal and coming up to the stage while I was singing. And she might have had maybe one or two too many drinks, perhaps.
There's always one.
You know the way it is. You know the way it is at a resort in the islands that are all inclusive.
Oh yeah, they're on vacation, so they're going to make it memorable for everybody.
Right. So she was coming right up to the stage, but finally she calmed down for a little while, and for this one song, I come down and I go across the front, and maybe fist bump or high five as I'm going across the front. When I get to her, I put my hand out, I think, like to give her a high five, and she jumped up and wrapped her arms around me and wouldn't let me go. And I'm singing with the mic. That was a little scary because she scared me a little bit throughout the show, the way she was acting. But that's about the scariest. I haven't had anything worse than that. So.
Well, I guess that's been a pretty good even keeled career. I mean, I've had little bumps here and there, and some funny stuff happen. And when you're on tour, a lot of times if you're the opening act, the headline will haze you at the end on the last show. Slather your guitar neck with peanut butter or something, or just play some crazy prank on you just to kind of remind you, hey, we're in charge here.
Right.
It's always just something fun like that. But yeah, the crowd will get nuts. I once had an 80-year-old woman tell me it was her birthday. She coaxed me off stage, and she said, "Would you give an old lady a thrill, or the thrill of her life?" And I said, "If I can." And she basically asked if she could grab my posterior. This was after everybody was gone and stuff. So I was like, well, am I going to say no to this 80-year-old woman on her birthday? So she got inappropriate with me. I forgave her. I don't report sexual harassment. I grade it. No, she was cute. And, she gave me a big hug and a kiss, and she's like, you're the best.
As a matter of fact, that story that I just told, if they go on my, or either Joey C or my Facebook page, Joey C or my YouTube account, or even my website, I have it on here. I have a demo reel of pieces of a lot of songs and of me performing. The very last song is a little piece of the very last song. I think it's Maybe This Time, the ballad. Right. I do Maybe This Time two different ways. It's a ballad and a little up-tempo, the one Sinatra did in 1986.
Okay.
But the ballad really gets a really good applause. And at the end of this, you'll hear a woman like screaming. And at the end of the song, hollering, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." That's the one who grabbed me and hugged me. That was the show that she grabbed me and hugged me.
See that? She lived in infamy.
It's funny. I haven't thought about it, but every time somebody mentions my demo or I run across it and I look at the end, and I said, "Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that night. I remember that night." She kept coming up to the stage, and I was worried that she was going to come on. And there's no security guards there. They're all adults,
exactly.
But sometimes, somebody, as I said, has one or two too many. And I didn't want her to interfere with the show. And that's what I was afraid of in the beginning. We were near the end when I walked down, and her husband grabbed her off me, so we were fine.
It was her vacation. You'll never forget it.
Right. Yeah, her vacation. It was my vacation, too. I actually vacation out there. I was performing at a couple of resorts. And the one that happened to, I was actually vacationing and performing at that resort.
That's the best way to do it. It pays for the vacation.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm going back next month. I didn't go back. I go back every year, the end of June for a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
And last week it was canceled. Naturally, I mean, last year it was canceled.
Right.
But this year it's on. So
cool. Well, listen. Come back anytime. Next time we do this, actually, I would love to come see a show, take some photos, and we could put them up on the YouTube and everything else. We could do this face to face next time. Joey Commentucci, if you're in the Philly area, or if you're in Punta Cana, you may catch him.
Right. At the end of June into the beginning of July, yes.
Are you booked down there too?
Over the 4th of July. Excuse me?
Are you booked down there too for a show?
Yes, yeah. I'm going to vacation and I'm going to be performing at the 2 resorts.
Nice.
Are you going to be playing any of my performance videos after the show or anything?
We can play the audio on the radio side, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, the audio, okay.
Yeah, and I can also put it up on YouTube as well. If you have any of that stuff, I can also, the copyright laws are weird on YouTube, so...
Yes, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. We have
I forgot.
Tread lightly. Yeah, it's okay. But we can play it on the radio, absolutely. We have clearance there, so... Right. All good. We're good to go. Joey, come
I have a couple on there that's with my band, which is the best band ever. Now, these guys were seasoned professionals. Some of them played with Vic Damone.
Oh, wow.
Some of them played with Ella Fitzgerald. Some of them played with Stephen Needy Gourmet. Some of them played with Sinatra Jr. and Sinatra Sr. So they know their stuff.
They know the material. Yeah.
So if you haven't seen one, you don't have to look at me. Just listen to the band. They are great. They are great. I'm so happy to have them.
Well, we were happy to have you tonight. Come back anytime. Joey Commentucci. Check out the socials. Check out the YouTube page. Joey, thanks so much.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, God bless.
The Ray Powers Hour.